nation, no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to LV, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? Raiders, rumors, and NFL news presented by Panda Supps. Go to pandasupps.com, use code Raider Nation. Hopefully you guys can remember that. Save 40% off on some of the best workout supplements. And a little cherry on top, I'll get into some details coming up here in a little bit. Got a fun little giveaway going on with Panda Supps, so make sure you guys are watching till the end. So here's my question. Should the Raiders trade for Matthew Stafford? Y for yes or type N for no? When I made this show here, my idea was not only be able to give you guys the latest Raiders news and rumors, but also go on the internet and look at what are the trending topics and how it relates to this team. One of the most popular DMs that I received over the weekend was, hey, Mitch, have you seen the Matthew Stafford trade latest, and should the Raiders pull the trigger? I'm going to let you know what I have to say about that. I'm going to tell you what a potential trade's going to look like and who's the better quarterback, Stafford or Derek Carr. But before we get into the latest around Stafford, should the Raiders trade for him? Y for yes or N for no? All right, let's talk about what's going on here with Matty Stafford. The Lions and him, they've agreed to part ways. His wife posted on Instagram this morning that they had an amazing time in Detroit. However, their time is going to be moving on. This is where it gets interesting, right? Because the Detroit Lions, when you're thinking about what type of contract you're going to be paying Stafford, the new team would only owe him $43 million over 2 years, which I actually think for a quarterback of his caliber is a very respectable number. Here are his 2020 stats. Over 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, a QBR of 68.5, all with, well, not having any running game whatsoever, not having his top receiver in Kenny Golladay who was down with an injury, and the offensive line also pretty shaky here. One of the biggest concerns with Stafford has always been he really hasn't won many games, but he does have one hell of an arm. ESPN released an article about 2 hours before I made this video, which basically sparked my idea because they said, here are some potential trade destinations for Matthew Stafford. Of course, a lot of the teams that are being connected with a lot of quarterback talk this offseason, you got the Colts, the 49ers, Patriots, Washington football team, Houston Texans, of course, right? Here are the other 4 teams that they mentioned. The Carolina Panthers, which I actually think could make some sense. The New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees isn't getting any younger. Denver Broncos, he'd be the best quarterback there. But then you see this team here, the Las Vegas Raiders. So anytime you see a quarterback could potentially be traded, is available, this or that, they always mention the Raiders. So again, I made this show to give you all my truth opinion. So should the Raiders go out and trade for Matthew Stafford? No. Tuck rule, tuck that. I just do not understand why you would trade draft capital when you already have Derek Carr. The Raiders have already come out and said that they plan on sticking with Carr in 2021. The only way I think something like that changes is if another big-time quarterback is interested in going to the Raiders. But Stafford, $43 million over 2 years, or you could pay Derek Carr $42 million over the next 2 years. And it's a lot easier to get out of Derek Carr's contract than it is Matthew Stafford's. But, hey, I understand there's a lot of these rumors. I understand what everyone's talking about. This is the trade idea that ESPN threw together. The Raiders, they receive Stafford. The Lions get a 2021 first-round pick, which is the 17th overall, and then a 2022 third-round pick. Now, I guarantee when I put this video out, it's going to be a lot more than just Raider fans seeing it. It's going to be Lion fans as well. So, to everyone who comes across this video, who ends up winning this trade? If you think it's the Las Vegas Raiders, I want you to type R. If you're like, you know what? No, the Lions win this trade, type L. I actually can't even believe that I'm even asking this question. I know I always say the show isn't about me, but I mean, the Lions clearly win this trade because I'm not going to give up this much draft capital for a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. But for anybody that's like, wow, that's a lot for a quarterback who hasn't won many games, for somebody who's like 31 years old, it's actually, I think, very, very reasonable because do you remember this? Carson Palmer's trade back in 2011, where the Raiders received Palmer, who actually at the time was retired, and I'll put that in air quotes. And then the Bengals, they received a 2012 first-round pick, which actually, it's funny enough, was 17th overall, and then a 2013 second-round pick. So I'm a big believer that's the reason why ESPN threw out the whole trade idea and, you know, what's worth what's worth this. However, I would be absolutely shocked if the Raiders ended up pulling it off. Do I think that Stafford is going to get, or the Lions will get a first-round pick for Stafford? Yes, I do. I mean, Jay Cutler went for 2 first-round picks. Jamal Adams, a safety, went for 2 first-round picks. It is a quarterback-driven league, and whether you like him or not, he plays the most important position. So I'm telling you right now, he is ultimately going to go for a first-round pick. But for the Raiders to end up trading their number 17 pick for a quarterback, I don't think that's very likely. If the Raiders really wanted another QB, I'll tell you what, I personally don't think it should end up being Matthew Stafford. So what we always do at Chat Sports, believe it or not, I work for a company called Chat Sports. That's why the Raiders Report exists. And we make videos all the time on our main YouTube channel. It's got over 230,000 subscribers. There was a video that went out over the weekend, Stafford trade destinations. If you want to see the actual teams that he could go to, not the Las Vegas Raiders, go check it out. Subscribe to the channel. We also go live every Monday and Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. The link is below. It's also in the description. I'll also put it in the comments as well. Check it out. If you like more NFL videos for free, we're an awesome channel to go check out. All right, y'all. Here's another debate we're going to get into. Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, right? Like, let's say you don't have to give up any draft capital. Let's say you don't have to worry about money. If it really just came down to who is the better quarterback, Derek Carr or Matthew Stafford, type DC for Carr, type MS for Stafford. When you talk about arm strength, it's Stafford. When you talk about accuracy, I'll go with a guy like Carr. So who's the better quarterback overall? I'll give you my answer in just a sec. Let's first look at their 2020 stats here. Advantage, DC. Completion percentage, yards, touchdowns, interceptions, QBR, wins, everything is advantage Carr. The only thing that Carr had more of that wasn't a good thing was fumbles, but when you lead the NFL in fumbles, guess what? That's going to happen a lot. So let's not look at just 2020. How about the past 2 seasons? So obviously I want you guys to look at games because it's 24 games for Stafford, 32 games for Derek Carr. I will give this. Stafford over the last 2 seasons on a per-game basis has actually been better than DC. When you go back and look at his 2019 stats, this dude was on pace for 5,000 yards, 39 touchdowns. Stafford, that is. That's when he had a full plethora of wide receivers with Marvin Jones, with Kenny Golladay, and, well, I guess a halfway decent running game at the time. However, Derek Carr is the better quarterback, not just last year. He's the better quarterback in 2021, and he will be the better quarterback for this Raiders team going into next season because we've seen how long it takes somebody to learn the Gruden system or how long it takes just to build some chemistry. Carr was much better this year, and I believe that going out and trading for a guy like Stafford, it just doesn't make any sense. Plus, he's got the better contract. And we're trying to save money. And the article that ESPN wrote said that, the Raiders right now have minus $17 million in cap space, which that is true. Can they cut a lot of players to save some room? Yes, absolutely. There's a video on the channel. 8 potential cap cuts the Raiders could do. So if you're telling me he's a better quarterback, I can save money, and he knows the offense more, why is this even a question being brought up to me? Derek Carr should be the quarterback the Raiders keep. I'm done with the whole Matthew Stafford conversation. So I appreciate when people ask me these questions. That's why I made the show. But all I ask sometimes, use your brain a little bit. It just doesn't make sense for the Raiders to go out and trade for Stafford. Something that does make sense. Today's show sponsor, Panda Subs. Now, obviously, if y'all want to go get some protein, get some fat burners, get some BCAAs because you're trying to, get rid of the belly fat that you got during COVID, you can go to pandasubs.com, use code RaiderNation, save 40% off. Now, if you want a chance to win some free protein and some free fat burner, all I ask you to do is this. Go to my Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365. I have an IG post that literally looks like the picture that you see on screen. Follow the instructions, and then you are entered to win. I am going to be announcing the winner of this giveaway tomorrow during my live Raider show, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So if you guys want to come check it out, please do so. Now, you guys can always hit me up on IG. That's one of the biggest reasons why I ended up doing this show. The next thing we're going to talk about here is John Johnson. You know the other reason why I tell you guys to hit me up on IG? Because NFL players in today's world, they go on Instagram. They post things. They like things. And John Johnson was on his Instagram a few days ago and was talking about, what he's going to do in free agency. Some Raider fan joins the live with him and is like, hey, man, are you coming to the Las Vegas Raiders? Johnson, kind of beat it around the bush, but he also gave a weird answer in terms of, could the Raiders be interested in him? He said, do you know where Mike Mayock went to college? The kid goes, Boston College. Do you know where I went to college? Boston College. So John kind of laughed at it and said, because I went to Boston College, the Raiders could be interested. I'm giving it 2 Chucky heads because safety is obviously a major need. And not only safety, a true free safety that's actually good in coverage. And in terms of being good in coverage, when he's healthy, he is one of the best in the National Football League. Here are his numbers in 2020. 105 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 8 pass breakups, 1 INT. How about his 2020 PFF grades? Okay, his overall grade, 85.6. That's third best among all safeties in the National Football League. But I want a true safety who can fit the Gus Bradley system. You need somebody that can cover. Look at his coverage grade, 85.6. But I did mention this. When healthy, he's great. In 2019, he battled a plethora of injuries, and it really impacted his overall stats. Now, sure, you're going to see, wow, 6 games, 2 picks, 2 pass breakups, 51 tackles. Those were just, he was honestly just a tackling machine. And as we remember from Tier Whitehead, you don't have to be good to get tackles all the time. You just got to be in the right place, right time. So look at his coverage grade, 56.9. Overall grade, 53.5. Now let's go to 2018. He was drafted in 2017, and basically as soon as he came into the league, you could see his skills. 4 interceptions, 119 tackles. This was the year the Rams ended up going to the Super Bowl. And then his PFF grade, 84.1. That, again, was top 3 in the National Football League, and a coverage grade of 86.1. Now, recently I put out a video about my top 10 targets the Raiders should go out and get in terms of free agency. Johnson, he did not make that list. However, I will be coming out with a video soon about some free agent targets that the Raiders could look at the safety position. But I'm curious, y'all. Sign or pass? What would you do with Johnson? Because there's going to be a lot of really talented free agent safeties out there. Now, I'm expecting him to probably get in the $13, $14 million a year range, which might seem high. However, there's going to be probably 4 or 5 other safeties that actually might make more than Johnson overall. So here's some of the top free agent safeties. Justin Simmons, Anthony Harris. These are my top 2 guys. Marcus Williams, if you want a high upside prospect, only 24 years old. Marcus May might be the best all-around player. John Johnson, if you want a true free safety, definitely up there. Some potential cheaper options that also have some injury concerns. Malik Hooker, I'll tell you what, if Malik Hooker comes to Vegas, that's a jersey I'm absolutely buying. Keanu Neal, Jaquiski Tart. I mean, you can see there are a lot of talented players at the free safety position. So whether or not they're going to go after Johnson is going to, I think, ultimately come down to best value and what players they potentially move on to. So I'm getting ready to head out, y'all. Make sure you join us for our live show because I'm putting this video out here real shortly. Join us for our live show on our Chat Sports channel starting 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific.